Hey everyone, my name is Bunny. I am a VTuber primarily on Twitch, but I wanted to take a crack at YouTube. Now, I honestly don't expect that this is going to gain a whole lot of traction, but if it does, just in case, I am blatantly borrowing this idea from Baby Jamie1. I've watched a handful of these, and frankly, I really like them, and I've also seen a bunch of them online, and much like everybody else, I imagine, it honest to God pisses me off when I'm reading a story or watching a story on TikTok, and they just give me half of the story and do not give me all of the story. Even if I know the story is AI generated nonsense, I want the whole story, and I don't want to go to your YouTube to go and watch the whole story. So, I decided to try and rectify that. Now, in the background, I'm also playing Minecraft to keep everybody interested and engaged. I'm playing the Sunlit Valley mod pack, which is a lovely mod pack that I will link in the description down below, and I really do enjoy it. I play it all the time, on and off stream. If there are any stories that you want me to cover, you can either just drop a comment or you can send me an email through my business email. If for some reason somebody wants me to read stories and it actually starts popping off, then I will make an easier way for you guys to send me some stories. But if you want to hear some feedback and generally stuff like that, feel free to just drop a comment down below. Boyfriend 25 male told me he used to ask out fat girls for fun. Am I, 22 female, right to be disgusted by him? This was posted by Direct Caterpillar 77 on r/best redditor updates. The original post was from iTownMans, originally posted to relationship advice. Some of the trigger warnings listed here are body shaming and bullying. Now, from reading the title here, I'm going to say yes, because I can't really imagine any realm where asking people out for fun, just to, like, make fun of them, makes any sense and is acceptable in any way, shape, or form. But let's read the whole post, because maybe there's a possibility, though I doubt it. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 1 year. He's a very tall, attractive guy. He was on the hockey team in university, and his team was kind of like a bunch of frat dudes, but he never seemed like that kind of guy. He was always very kind and sensitive with me. He also seems to be a very respectful and caring person. In brackets, he's in medical school right now. Some of his old buddies from his former team came over yesterday, and we're just talking and hanging out. They start talking about their old shenanigans in university. My boyfriend said, quote, "Remember that time I broke the record for our chunky chick challenge?" End quote. I asked what the chunky chick challenge was, and he said the goal was to ask out as many fat girls in a week. Everyone would put money in the prize pool, and the winner would get the entire prize at the end of the week. Basically, he asked out like 50 fat girls over text / in person, secretly recording their conversation, and ghosted them on the date. I was shocked and said that was so mean and gross. My boyfriend said the challenge was just a joke, for fun, etc. He accused me of overreacting. Am I, though? No. Like I said in the beginning, I couldn't imagine a case where it would be okay to ask people out for a joke and then ghost them multiple times, 50 times, apparently. I can't imagine a world where it's acceptable to do it once, but let alone 50 times, and I was correct. This is not the case where it is acceptable, if there even is one. Some of the comments said, quoting what they said, was, he also seems to be a very respectful and caring person, and they said, apparently only to people who he deems attractive enough to be treated decently. Someone replied with, preach, can't wait till he's a doctor and has to deal with women / teenage girls who may or may not have weight issues, bet he'll be a fucking treat. Another comment was, gross. If your boyfriend still says it's a joke after maturing a bit and doesn't understand the deplorable nature of his actions and is telling you you are overreacting and not fessing up to being a waste of space in college, yeah, that's a no, character counts. Another comment says, I know a lot of people here are saying, yes, you are right. But you didn't choose to be disgusted and shocked, you just were. People don't choose their feelings, and feelings are something you sit around and have intellectual debates about. It doesn't matter if you're right or not. The fact is that you feel disgusted and there's no reasoning that feeling away. So you're asking the wrong question. The real question is, do I want to spend more time with someone who doesn't find this behavior disgusting? Which I think is a wonderful way of putting it. The way that you feel about these sort of things really isn't debatable one way or another. You're not wrong for having feelings or right for having feelings. You just have those feelings. What matters is then the decisions that you make regarding those feelings. So they updated it about 4 days later. Quick updates. I confronted my boyfriend after his friends left and told him that I was genuinely concerned about his treatment of those girls. I said he lacked empathy, and I can't believe he doesn't see what was wrong with his actions. He finally acknowledged that, yes, what he did was mean. He says he didn't want to seem boring to his friends. I said I thought he was better than that. I told him I was worried about how he'd treat me if I gained weight in the future. He said that I was the type of person to always stay skinny. I said he can't be so sure of that, especially if I get pregnant. I said I was scared by his shallowness. Long story short, I broke up with him. He's super sad and has been apologizing nonstop via text. No matter what he says, I just can't get his cruelty out of my head. It's made me much less attracted to him, and I don't want to be associated with that kind of person, as I am a new grad nurse in an eating disorder clinic, and I see that kind of effect that rude comments and actions have on young women. One of the teenage girl patients is anorexic because she used to be fat and bullied in school. I am disgusted to think that my boyfriend embodies the cruelty of her bullies. And the last comments there were, I'm a guy, I know people like that. My guess is that he does not feel bad at all. He only feels bad because he saw how you reacted to it. He most likely thought that he was doing those fat girls a favor by showing them attention. Don't be fooled, original poster, he does not feel bad. He's got a lot to prove if he wants to show remorse for being a cruel fuck. Fuck that, I was trying to impress my friends bullshit. This is my experience with these kinds of people. Another comment was, you're an ED nurse and you thought you'd find that story funny? Sounds like you dodged an idiot bullet as well as a sociopath bullet. You made 100% the right decision. Which I definitely agree with. I don't think I could get past something like that if I was dating somebody like that. We have another one today titled, Husband's Girlfriend Wants a Baby, Give Me Advice. Again, posted by DirectCaterpillar77. Originally posted by throwra_unsure1234. Originally posted to non-monogamy. The trigger warnings that are given here are infidelity and coercion. Now, when I saw husband's girlfriend wants a baby, give me advice, I wasn't sure where this was going to be going, and then I remembered that open relationships exist, and I'm still kind of concerned, if I'm being honest. But we will read, and then we will decide from there. My husband and I have been together since we were 22. We are 38 now. We have 2 wonderful sons, a teen and a preteen. When our youngest was 3, we opened our marriage because I wanted to explore. We did some swapping a few times. It was okay, but I realized I really liked being with women. Eventually, I told my husband I was done exploring, but he could continue if he wanted. We talked a lot. He agreed after we discussed some grand rules. I never really dated anyone else. I had brief relationships with a few women, but that's it. He met Sarah, very successful career, in her 40s, and there was an immediate spark. Sarah said she wanted to meet me. I told her that as long as their relationship didn't interfere with our life or his responsibilities as a dad and husband, he is very involved in the kids' lives with household responsibilities as well, I was completely okay with it. So 1 weekend a month they would meet and have fun. A few times they went on mini trips. I actually enjoyed seeing my husband happy, and Sarah even sent me a few videos. She clearly stated that she had no intention of replacing me. Now on Saturday, she texted my husband saying she wanted to see both of us at a restaurant. We showed up and she dropped a bomb. She wants my husband to have a baby with her. She said it would be like being a single mom by choice, except the baby would know who the dad is and my husband would be involved visiting the child and being a part of their life. My husband said this is 100% my decision and that if I don't feel comfortable, it won't happen. They both said that if I say no, their relationship will continue, so I shouldn't feel pressured that I'm breaking them up. She could find another donor, I assume. I can't stop thinking about it. Am I ruining my husband's happiness if I say no? If I say yes, am I ruining my kid's future in our marriage? I hate to admit it, but I always wanted a daughter. What if my husband and she have a girl? Then that would be the woman who finally gives him a daughter. I'm a mess. Please give me advice. Somebody commented, totally contrary to the initial agreement. Direct her to a sperm bank. Tell her your friendship and access to your husband will stop, and that if she pursues it, even by accident, you will sue her for alienation of affections. For safety's sake, get this stuff in writing. Present her an agreement to abide by, get it signed by her and your husband. As a precautionary measure, try to get a recording of your conversation about this on the phone. If this conversation causes a rift, then ask her why she's so interested in your husband versus any other man she might have. This is a mess, and I don't know if suing would really be worth it personally, but I'm not a lawyer. And the original poster responded saying that she asked. She said, he is a good-looking guy, she loves him, he is smart and a great guy. I'm not getting any younger, so I'm going to do it by myself instead of wasting time to meet a husband. Somebody else asked, how long has he been seeing this other person? I don't think you're a bad guy for feeling uncomfortable. If it's 100% your decision as he claims, you shouldn't feel guilty for saying no. This would impact your children's lives and your life. Also, who's to say she's also not pregnant? And she responded that they had been dating for 2 years. It's a little bit weird to me that they put it exclusively on the wife in this question, in this context. I feel like that's kind of strange to just be like, oh, it's 100% the decision of the wife, so all of the responsibility falls upon her. I don't think that there's really any way to make it acceptable. I don't really think that there's anything that would benefit. I don't think there's any way to do this correctly. But I feel like putting 100% of the decision-making and all of the work on the wife is kind of unfair, personally. An update said, I talked to my husband. He said Sarah a few times asked if he likes to have more kids casually and complimented him about what an involved dad he is, but that's it. I asked what he thinks about her request to get her pregnant. He said he really loves her and loves having more kids, and if that's what would make her happy, he would do it in a heartbeat if it was up to him only. I told him he has 2 solutions. 1, we separate or divorce, and he can get Sarah pregnant. With 50-50 custody of our kids, he will have time to take care of her and her newborn too, like he did for me when I gave birth. He should also explain the whole thing to our kids. 2, he gets snipped before touching Sarah or any other woman again. I'm not asking you to be monogamous with me, but I demand you to get snipped. He didn't reply and wanted to think. I guess as of right now, it's 100% on him. So the comments explained how it kind of became a mess. Somebody said, he's disrespected you and your family's dynamic and boundaries by saying he's going to have a baby whether you like it or not, especially after he said the choice was 100% your choice, and a divorce is actually so much simpler and doesn't cost a whole lot if you guys can agree on how it's split before you go into file. I don't really see the point where he just says that he was having a kid one way or another. It's more that he really loves her and loves having kids, and he would do it in a heartbeat if it was only up to him. I don't really ever see him saying that he was going to do it regardless, but I do still think it's unfair that the choice is 100% on the wife. My heart goes out to you and your courage with how everything has gone. I hope it doesn't have to end too messy. I would agree, though, that the kids should know regardless of what happens, they deserve to know. OP responded with, kids know now, so do his parents. We talked to them. He told them it was my idea to open our marriage. He's not cheating and I gave him consent. My oldest is so furious at both of us and called us embarrassing and disgusting. My youngest is meh and doesn't really care. My mother-in-law yelled at me when she found out. It was an emotional day. Somebody responded with saying, he's really awful, he wants all the responsibility on you. You don't agree about the baby, and that's the real problem. My 13-year-old son would be furious in the situation, too. Your husband is destroying everything, especially your son, because of his whim. I will never accept my husband choosing himself over our family. They made another post titled, would you choose divorce in my situation? Does divorce make it worth it when the marriage is open? I had a long talk with my husband this morning before leaving for work, and now I'm trying to decide what's best for me and my kids. I'm very emotional, so please be gentle. This morning, his girlfriend texted him about his decision and joked that she should adjust their meetup schedule according to her fertile days and said she is so excited to try for a baby with him. I asked him the same question, what is your decision? He said he decided that he wants to have a baby with her and will figure out a routine so that everything works out the same. I told him in that case I'm filing for divorce. He asked me, why? What are you trying to achieve? You can leave and then only see the kids 50% of the time. It will cost us a lot of money and legal fees. You go from a nice house with your kids to a small apartment near your work. To achieve what? You already can see other people. What would divorce bring you? What's the benefit for you? He said whether we divorce or not, the baby will happen. He also said he won't neglect any of his responsibilities towards our kids or me because he'll have a new baby. According to him, the most logical solution would be to tell the kids about Sarah when she gets pregnant and explain that they will have a half-sibling. He wants to come clean and just continue with our lives. That's the hard thing. He won't neglect any of his responsibilities towards our kids or me because he'll have a new baby. I don't really see that as being possible. A new baby is a lot of work. I can't imagine that he's not going to neglect somebody in the situation. He's either going to have to neglect the new baby for the kids and the wife, or neglect the kids and the wife for the new baby, one way or another. And then you just want to tell the kids, tell the family, come clean and just continue on with their lives. So he gets everything that he wants without having to make any sacrifices. That's how it seems to me, personally. She said, I got very emotional and said I don't want her in my life. He said she wouldn't be part of my life and that he could arrange visitations with Sarah and the babies, that he goes there instead of the baby coming to our house. He kept saying that this way everything would be open and honest, the kids would be informed, and they could even meet the future baby. He said there is literally zero benefit to divorce since our marriage is already open aside from draining our bank account. I am very emotional right now and planning to speak to a lawyer to get advice. Has anyone dealt with a situation like this? Now, there was a final update about 2 months later, where she just listed off exactly what she did. She said, I met with an attorney but decided to stay and work things out. I have been seeing a therapist who is very familiar with ethical non-monogamy. Sarah got pregnant almost immediately, saying, yes, I gave my husband consent, but also told him if it affects our life, I will be gone. She is due the end of November. She and my husband had a long talk. She's moving back to Canada to be closer to her sister. In fact, her moving day is soon and my husband is helping her. He will be with her after she gives birth. She told my husband that once the baby is older, she would like to start to date to get married, so she will break up with my husband. My husband understood because he has zero plan to end our marriage. Even if I leave, Sarah has no interest in being a parent to our kids, so it's for the best. Sarah wants my husband's to be in the kid's life, with occasional visits, FaceTime, and stuff. My youngest is very excited. My oldest at first got really mad, but now told my husband he wants nothing to do with the baby, which my husband respects. My in-laws are confused. My mother-in-law hopes she finally gets a granddaughter. Overall, life is good. One other comment said, why did you decide to give your consent in the end? The whole situation seemed really tense, and your husband was quite unfair in his treatment of you, insisting on it after telling you it was your choice, pressuring you together with his girlfriend and already telling her yes, telling the children/in-laws against your wishes and making it out like it's your fault. You gave your consent and he did it straight away. Did he give you some kind of reassurance? Did he take care of you and your feelings in the marriage? How can you be so sure that they will keep the boundaries they have set now? Will the children be in the baby's life? Will you provide help to your Will you provide help to your older child who seems to be struggling with the whole situation? If your mother-in-law is excited for a granddaughter, does that mean that they will be involved with the baby and Sarah going forward? Sorry, that's a lot of questions, but your situation stayed with me for a long time and I still can't wrap my head around it. You don't owe anyone, much less strangers, an explanation, but I really hope you're actually alright and is doing what's best for you. She responded with, No, I thought about it a lot. I told my husband he has my consent as long as our life stays the same. My husband is a firefighter, so he works 24-hour shifts a few days a month, and the rest he is free, so he mostly meets her when the kids are at school, besides our one weekend of the month together. My mother-in-law generally loves me, but sometimes she can be too much. The good news is every time I told my husband mother-in-law is too much, he stands up for me. Yes, it was my idea to open up the marriage, and he didn't cheat. He's talked to his parents again and again. He will visit again soon because mother-in-law lately again has become too much. Mother-in-law asked my husband if she can visit the baby and goes with my husband when Sarah gives birth. Sarah said no, and besides him, she doesn't want to visit her until she is ready. Mother-in-law knows that the baby will be raised by Sarah alone, but hopes that she gets to visit the baby often too. If he can't keep the boundaries he promised to me, I really have nothing to negotiate. I will leave him, and he is aware of that. Yeah, this sounds a little bit messy, and I scrolled down a little bit and saw the top comment was, what happens when Sarah decides she wants a kid to have a full sibling, or what happens when he dies first and she has to share his money with Sarah's kids, etc. And that's actually a really good question, because overall, legal-wise, this does kind of become a little bit of a mess relatively quickly. Especially when you think about estate, claim to a will, stuff like that, and then child support. Is he going to be paying child support? Is he going to be able to afford child support? How would that impact the other children? There's so many questions that aren't really answered, and it definitely does feel a little bit like it got brushed under the rug a little bit there. But at the same time, the original poster is a grown woman, and I'm sure that she can make her own decisions. Though it is definitely a little bit worrisome sometimes, just to see stuff like this. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure that you're okay? Those are, I think, usually the things that I start wondering about with, especially open relationships and ethical non-monogamy.